Good evening and a very warm welcome to India Matters on Monday night. I'm Shiv Arur. The big story of the day obviously emanated from China, but our topic of the day has been triggered by what has happened in the United States. First, a racist attack from the Trump administration, and now a casteist attack where Pete Navarro, the attack dog of Trump, has escalated. He used a casteist slur now to attack India. That's debate number one here on India Matters. Then we talk about how, with Modi in China, with the big meeting with Putin and Xi Jinping, India definitely wins, but the opposition is whining. Anand Ranganathan and others join me on the big debate. How small-minded the opposition has been on a big victory day, not for the BJP, no Modi, but for India as a nation. And yet they continue to whine. And finally, the Maratha quota protest that has shamed the city of Mumbai. Is this reservation or rowdyism? We'll show you pictures that will truly shock you from India's financial capital and nerve center. We'll be debating that as well with prominent Mumbaikars and politicians. All of that and much more in the lineup tonight right here on India Matters. Starting with Trump's number one tariff advisor, Peter Navarro, who has done it again. After painting India as a land of snake charmers that buys Russian oil to fund war, after mocking our Prime Minister in saffron meditation, he has now picked up a caste metaphor to Peter Navarro said Brahmin profiteering at the expense of the Indian people. That single word, Brahmin, has shocked many because there is a context when you use it for India, isn't there? And Navarro is no fool. He knows caste is one of India's deepest battlefields. It is quite likely that someone advised Navarro that one of many netas who pretend to speak for the Bahujan could pick up and run with it and create domestic pressure on the government, the way one prominent neta mindlessly echoed Trump's Indian economy is dead charge. Remember that? Well, to my great, I have to be very frank with you tonight, viewer. No Indian neta has actually run with Navarro, but something even more telling and pretty embarrassing has happened. At least two members of parliament, two members of the Rajya Sabha, who you would think had better things to do with their voice and public funded salaries, rushed to clarify on behalf of Peter Navarro. They told us, one of them even lectured me, that Navarro is a Boston man and therefore must have meant Boston Brahmins, an Americanism that denotes the elite, and that Indians are stupid. Indians like me are stupid to think that Navarro was indulging in a casteist slur for India. Well, these netas not only have their priorities upside down, in my view, they probably would climb over their own loved ones to provide cover fire to anyone scoring points against Modi or his government. And while they think that they sound educated and elite and lofty and enlightened, explaining the semantics of Navarro's use of Brahmin, they gloss over the fact that the very use of the word was meant to patronize and to trigger India. Peter Navarro was speaking about India and to India, and he knew what he was doing. Social justice pretenders will no doubt label me a Savarna fascist for even pointing this out. But this is not a caste debate. This is about Trump's chief attack dog escalating the tone of his campaign against India from racialism to casteism. The Indian government has wisely refused to oxygenate Peter Navarro's bile, but leave it to our disconnected, deracinated, imaginationless opposition, or a section of it, to rush to explain his insults to us unwashed masses, as if that is the issue. 78 years after independence, the Brown Sahib is alive and well.
I don't understand why he's getting to bed with Putin and Xi Jinping when he's the biggest democracy in the world. So I would just simply say to the Indian people, please understand what's going on here. You got Brahmins profiteering at the expense of the Indian people. We need that to stop.
Prior to the Russian invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022, you know how much oil India bought from Russia? Just about zip, pretty close to zero, Dave. And then when Russia invades, they got to figure out a way to backdoor it. So India quickly transformed itself into basically a Kremlin laundromat for their oil. Everybody in America loses because of what India is doing. The consumers and businesses and everything lose, and workers lose because India's high tariffs cost us jobs and factories and income and higher wages. And then the taxpayers lose because we got to fund Modi's war, okay? The road to peace runs at least partly right through New Delhi.
War?
I mean Modi's
Okay.
war. What is the net impact on the Americans because of our trade with India? Well, let's think about it. They have higher tariffs. There are Maharaja tariffs, higher non-tariff barriers. We run a massive trade deficit with them. So that hurts American workers, hurts American businesses.
And Peter Navarro's boss, the US president, has just fired his latest shot at India, appearing to be in response to Modi's presence at the SCO summit. Trump has doubled down on his tariff. It's another wine fest where Trump says India does big business with us, but it is a very one-sided relationship. He claims that there is a trade imbalance. He's once again sounding like a stuck record. Trump says that India buys a lot of oil and a lot of weapons from Russia and not from the United States. He says India has offered to cut tariffs to nothing, but it is getting late. It seems like Trump is scaling down his attack. There is no more disrespect in this particular attack, but he seems to be running out of patience, or at least signaling that the window for negotiations between India and the United States is closing. But he provides a little bit of an opportunity there as well. Well, today's debate is not about Trump because, like I said, what he's put out on social media right now in response to Modi's big win at the SCO is something that pales in comparison to the very, very hostile things that have been said both by Trump himself a few days ago, but now chiefly his top advisor, a person who I'm describing as an attack dog because he's doing all the attacking on India, very specifically has been enlisted to do that, is Peter Navarro. Joining me live now to talk about not just the attacks, not just the use of the word Brahmins profiteering from the Indian people, but also the kind of shameless defense and cover fire provided to Peter Navarro by a section of the Indian opposition. I'm joined tonight on India Matters by Dr. Anand Ranganathan, analyst, best-selling author and commentator, Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP. I'd like to start, however, with Tausif Khan, who is a political analyst. He supports the Trinamool Congress. The Trinamool, of course, has refused to be on my show, and I'm not surprised about that. Tausif, two of the party you support's Rajya Sabha MPs today found it appropriate to use their voice, their time, their agency to clarify what Peter Navarro was saying when he said Brahmins are profiteering from the Indian people. Two Rajya Sabha members of the Trinamool, no less. Do you think that was a good use of their time?
Well, it is totally their prerogative when the entire media is talking about it, and especially you yourself had posted it on the X platform.
Yeah.
Then why not them? They also have the equal right as you.
Apart from the fact that they're wrong and they're public representatives
wrong
and
or
they're
right
parliamentarians.
See, to me, right or wrong is very subjective. See, to me, India has been buying cheap Russian, cheap. No, please.
The priority for both these MPs,
Anand,
I don't even want to take their
Anand
names because it will contaminate my show. But I'm saying both these MPs, Tausif, no disrespect to you personally, you know that. It's no disrespect to you, Tausif, personally.
No, why disrespect
I'm just saying,
to anybody?
I have nothing but
go on and
contempt.
make fun of
I have nothing but contempt for both those MPs. Let me be frank with you. Let me be frank with you, Tausif. I and most right-thinking Indians will have contempt for someone who says, oh, he meant Boston Brahmins. Oh, he didn't mean Brahmins. Oh, he didn't mean anything casteist. You are so uneducated, Shiv, you are an idiot. You should read more. You are part of the BJP ecosystem. That is what two members of parliament of the party you support have spent today doing. Tausif, that is the reality of it. You can talk about prerogative, but that is what two MPs today have done. Provide cover fire to Trump's attack dog while he is insulting India with racialist and casteist slurs.
Shiv, we know that Trump is a good buddy of Mr. Modi, and we know that Xi Jinping attacked India just few months ago, which caused in Operation Sindoor. Therefore, Modi shaking hands with Xi Jinping, who was attacking India, who our Indian army has gone on record and said that they were helping Pakistan with live data.
But why are your MPs giving cover fire to Peter Navarro?
Because I am saying in the end of the day, what matters is we have to look for our interest, the interest of our nation.
That is fine. All that is fine, sir.
And that is where I'm coming to.
But Tausif, all that is fine.
No, please.
Let us assume I agree with everything you're saying. Let us assume I agree with everything you're saying. Why are two MPs supporting Peter Navarro and providing him cover fire? Please answer that.
Navarro talked about...
And they are not even right about it. They're sounding like idiots.
No, let us use the term Navarro used Brahmins. And what Saket Gokhale and Miss Sagarika Ghosh was referring is
they
that Brahmins is actually a synonym to the rich and
How
wealthy.
can he be talking about Boston Brahmins, sir?
Rich and wealthy of Indian are profiting from importing Russian cheap oil. What is false in it? It is
so you're not offended
correct.
by it? You're not offended by the use of the word?
Correct.
You're not offended by the word?
Shiv, please give me uninterrupted 1 minute. We are buying cheap crude oil from Russia from a long time.
I'm talking about the language.
But the benefit has not translated into the pockets of middlemen.
I'm talking about the language that has been used.
It is the rich who is pocketing the profit.
I'm not getting into the rights and wrongs of Russian oil. I have fact-checked that till kingdom come. I am talking about the choice of language used. I want to keep this specific, Tausif, for obvious reasons, because this is a limited time debate. I am saying the choice of the words used when it comes to India. Peter Navarro is no fool. He has chosen to use a word that will trigger Indians, that will create divisions in our society, and two members of parliament of the party you support have thought it fit to give him cover fire. Please explain that. That is all I am asking.
What is the context in which Peter Navarro was talking? He was talking in the context of India buying cheap Russian oil.
So you're okay with
it? And who is benefited? Who is benefited? The petrol is at 110 rupees. Petrol price has not gone down. It is not the middle class who's benefited. It's the rich who's benefited.
A casteist slur is okay.
Rich corporate house who is buying cheap price
Forget
from
all that. Casteist slur is okay.
And processing
on
it
NDTV,
and exporting it to Europe.
Tausif, on
reprocessing it in refinery and selling it to Europe and profiting from
I
there.
understand that you would like to dance around the issue, but you're not addressing the nub of the issue that I'm asking. Here on NDTV, unlike on many other channels, we talk about all of these things that you're talking about. You can ask Anand, you can ask Charu. We call out everyone. We call out big oil. We call out government. We call out failures of the BJP. We call out failures of the Modi government. You can ask Charu. We always ask those questions. I am saying today that the use of the word Brahmin by Peter Navarro and the cover fire and defense provided by two Rajya Sabha members of Indian Parliament is one of the most shameful days for India. Anand, am I right to be offended?
I'll give you one more example. Hollywood Mughal.
I feel
we always refer to Hollywood Mughal.
I feel like I need a shower today. I feel like I need another shower today with what has happened by two members of parliament giving cover fire to a man who is using racism and casteism to attack India on this issue. Anand, you go.
Good evening, Shiv, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Look, seeing the imbecility and ignorance, frankly, for a minute, one thought Rahul Gandhi has loaned his advisor to Donald Trump. First, their dead economy concurrence, when India is in fact the fastest growing large economy, posting highest ever Forex, exports, PMI, GST collection in Sensex, and now bringing in the term Brahmin. If it was an attempt to inject casteism and prop up internal fissures that Rahul Gandhi has been doing, I'm sorry it failed. Because none of the backs stuck with these dartboards are Brahmins but rather OBCs. And if it was meant to convey elitism and the elites profiteering from Russian oil, this couldn't be further from the truth. Let me explain very briefly. Number one, India has saved $26 billion over the past 3 years by choosing Russian over Saudi oil. Not just because of discounted Russian oil, but also because increasing our procurement of it has lowered oil prices in general, saving us money for the rest of our oil procurement. Without that, our inflation would have risen cumulatively 1.47% beyond its actual level in those years, helping the poor and the disadvantaged, not the elite. And as for those wondering why those savings haven't reached consumers directly, no government, whether Congress or the BJP, ever does so. Why the fuel industry? Given because the price drop, since this sector funds public programs, it's a revenue source, Shiv. The profits and savings collected by the government here feed a fund that's tapped whenever it must provide hundreds of billions in aid or support across sectors.
What is the price of petrol?
Those 100 million toilets originate, or those roads and health insurance.
What is the price of petrol, Anand?
Now, 1 second, I'm just coming to that, Tasif. I did not interrupt you. Number two, the Indian government has directly earned upwards of 5,000 crores from Reliance and Nayara as windfall for exporting refined Russian oil. The people who have profited from buying Russian oil are not elites, but ordinary Indians. And this is where, in its
how ordinary Indian? What is the price of petrol? Please say what rubbish you say.
Trump and his trailer trash band of illogical illiterates. Modi should be congratulated for not surrendering to a bully like Trump, but standing up to him and buying Russian oil, because this step has helped us. In fact, we have now increased
70 price has reached 110 and Modi is helping poor.
If we secure the level of discount for the next year that Russia offered 2 years back, 24%, we'll actually neutralize the damage anticipated from these 50% Trump tariffs projected to be 0.3% of GDP by Goldman Sachs. And finally, 30 seconds, just to rub it in. We should levy a 2% duty labeled as blood tariff on EU and the US, since they are funding the savage conflict in Ukraine, where civilians die solely because the EU keeps importing 3 million tons of Russian iron and nickel, 18 million tons of Russian LNG, 8 million tons of Russian oil. US keeps importing 3.5 million tons of Russian fertilizers, 435 tons of Russian uranium, and 1.1 million tons of Russian oil processed in India. So yes, the only thing...
What is the price of petrol? Simple question.
Tough to say, but even Rahul Gandhi has better advisors than Trump.
How does it help poor? How does it help poor to increase the retail price of petrol?
Have you not been listening? If you were listening to me, rather than
when Modi
do you not understand
the price of
petrol? What is wrong with you? Is the debate on petrol prices today? Can I please come in?
Yeah, Charu, please come in. Charu, come in.
Yes, I'm sorry. I think Tausif Khan has completely misunderstood the topic of the debate, because he thinks the topic of the debate is discussing fuel prices in India. No, Tausif, today the discussion is that an outsider uses a casteist slur, uses the word Brahmins like a slur, and the echo chamber is created not in Washington, but here in Delhi. Not by an outsider, the slur is repeated, but we found justification within India by people who sit in our parliament to represent our people. Now, I am going to, Tausif, very politely request you not to speak over me, because I have waited for my turn to speak.
I'll come to you,
Tausif. I will big decency from you. May I please speak? Thank you.
Yes, go on, then I'll answer. Yes.
Continue, Charu. I'll come to Tausif after that.
Thank you. See, here what Navarro says is insulting, it's bad, it is a slur, whatever it is. He cannot handle racism in his own backyard. He wants to lecture India. All of it is bad, I understand. But you know, Shiv, what is worse? The worst thing is that we have Indians who sit in our parliament, who are hands in glove with people who want to bring down India. That is a problem. And then we've got these apologists who come on national television and they justify it. That is a very real issue. So when the opposition has a chance to speak for India, what are you doing? Are you standing tall on an international platform, or are you using every single platform to bring India down? That is a question of worry, because these insiders are the real enemies and they don't even understand what the whole fuss is about, because you could be fighting Modi, you could be fighting BJP, but in the end, you're fighting against India.
Now Shiv, I would like to
I'll give you
Shiv, I would like to address this question.
I have a whole...
Let Charu finish. Let Charu finish.
Your turn. You've also spoken during Anandji's turn. Now let me finish. I actually listed out every single year that Congress or opposition leaders have spoken on the international platform, and what have they talked about. Today, Modi ji is talking about India's strength in China. What is the Congress saying? They're calling India spineless. 1 year back, let's move back. Washington, what did Rahul Gandhi talk about? That the real issue in India is whether a Sikh is allowed to wear a turban and go to a Gurdwara. What kind of a statement was that? He received backlash from every single Sikh in India, I assure you of this. Before that, he went to Cambridge and he said, our democracy is under attack only because he's not winning elections. He's not winning elections for these very reasons. Because he keeps parroting statements which are completely false. Even today, he's parroting a statement claiming that even people internationally are saying it, wherein nobody is. Nobody is interested in anything that he's saying.
I will show you.
He said the same thing.
I will show you.
No, Shiv, I would like to come in.
Okay.
Allow me to come in.
Tausif, go ahead. Tausif, go ahead. After that, I'm going to show you.
No, you are giving legitimacy to the rabied attacks which are coming India's way. You understand that? Every rabied attack
Tausif, let us come to
Anand. Now, Shiv, all of us in this debate today, all four of us are well-traveled people. So today, if we do not acknowledge what really the Boston Mughal means, then we are only lying. I'll give you two examples. One, Kolkata is called Makkah of football. Does that mean that they're talking about the Makkah in Saudi Arabia? No. That is how we refer to a term. Secondly,
example.
we also say movie.
Come on.
He used the word Boston Brahmin.
I have not finished. Movie Mughal. I have not finished.
No.
I did not interrupt you. No, Charu, you have to let me finish.
Secondly, I completely disagree. It's a very disingenuous example.
No, please. Very commonly and very popularly we use the term movie Mughal. Do we then refer to other
very bad example.
Similarly, reference
Brahmin
to
Brahmin is not a word in English, sir. I'm sorry. It's not a commonly used word in English.
Reference to rich and wealthy. That's all.
No, it's not.
And wealthy
No, it's not.
In India,
no, it is not. He was talking about India.
Cheap Russian oil. As simple as that.
It is
You
not
want
as
to make
simple
it
as
complicated.
that. It is
so
not.
That
This is whitewashing.
boss in India. That's so
you are
absurd.
You are getting into bed with a man who is attacking India. You are okay with a casteist slur simply because he is scoring points against the Modi government. You are not being able to distinguish between the BJP, Modi and the Indian state. That is the problem of the opposition right now. That is the problem of the opposition.
The fact is,
you are
petrol is
whitewashing Peter
110
Navarro and
rupees per
Trump
litre.
because of the things they said. You've given them a license to insult and disrespect India because you think it doesn't matter. Chalo, theek hai, wo Modi ko attack kar raha hai. All this is Saat Khun Maaf. That's what this is. Anand, rebut.
No, very quickly. First of all, can I please request Tausif, my good friend, not to interrupt when others are speaking. We were completely silent when he was speaking. These are bad manners. You know, your ancestors were Brahmins, Tausif. Please learn something from them. Now, couple of things out here.
Brahmins in the sense
Let us give the
yes,
benefit. Now again, he starts interrupting. Arey bhai, sun lo thoda sa yaar.
Brahmins in the sense rich and wealthy, yes, I agree.
Please don't embarrass yourself. Arey sun lo yaar, Tausif. Please don't embarrass yourself. Number one. Shiv, 2 points. I already explained to him. Let me deal it a little bit more easier. Perhaps he could not understand or comprehend simple English. In the time of COVID, when oil prices fell to zero per barrel.
Scientists like you is giving English lessons.
Tausif, let Anand finish. I'll give you time.
Anand, a great scientist like you is giving English
He's
lessons.
not here to
fair.
Tausif, let Anand finish. Let him make his point. I'll come back to you. Don't interrupt him. Anand.
Yes. So during COVID, when the oil prices per barrel fell to zero, were the fuel prices per liter of petrol also zero? No, they weren't. As I'm trying to explain, the petroleum sector is used to generate and save revenue that can be used for welfare schemes. So it is not directly passed on to the consumers. It is saved for the consumers, and those millions of toilets and tap water connections to a lot of other people are then passed on.
Why did Gadkari say 30 rupees
now
petrol?
Again, Shiv,
I'm reminding you, Nitin
Gadkari
talks about
for God's sake, let him finish. He's making a point. I'll come to you. We've got more layers of this debate. Yes, Anand, finish your point.
Yes, thank you. And in any case, even if you were to give benefit of the doubt to that semi-literate, meaning that he meant Brahmins as elites, I have already explained. The profiteering has not happened. The profit has been generated and the profit has been used and taken by the government in tens of hundreds of thousands of crores to the tune of lakhs of crores. And that is the profit that is now being used for welfare schemes, for putting tap water connection to people like Tausif's houses, for giving him gas cylinders. So it is nothing to do with elitism. It is to do with Dalits, Adivasis who are benefiting from this.
Yeah.
So even if you were to give this jackass a benefit of the doubt that he was actually meaning elites, he is wrong there as well. By jackass, I meant Peter Navarro, not Tausif.
So what Anand is saying, Tausif, what Anand is saying is not only is it insulting, but it's also dishonest and factually incorrect. Forget about it being insulting and disrespectful and casteist and racist and all cultural profiling, etc. It's also totally misinformed, and that's why Anand even calls Navarro a jackass. Tausif, final comment, then I want to go to the next step of this debate with the three of you.
Anand is saying that the money is saved or profited from the cheap Russian import of oil is being distributed to the poor, but he's not citing any data, he's not citing any report, he's not giving any, it is his opinion, and it based on his own.
How is that his opinion? That's ridiculous. Come on, there is data.
I am asking a simple fact.
Inflation has
BJP government promised cheap petrol, they have not delivered the promise. When Modi became Prime Minister, the petrol price was 70 rupees.
Okay.
Now it is 110 rupees. And now he's saying, oh, I'm using the money for welfare schemes. No, we don't buy that lie. For welfare schemes, you have that top secret fund. The Prime Minister's fund.
Does West Bengal tax petrol?
The details.
What is the excise tax?
In the time of COVID, you collected
Why do you tax petrol?
You collected Prime Minister.
Why does the West Bengal government have 20%?
Tausif, answer that very simple question that Anand is asking. Does the West Bengal government tax petrol or not?
Profit is being used.
Why does the West Bengal government tax petrol?
We don't buy that. Only Anand will buy it.
No, this is a very silly rhetorical argument you're making, and you're finding an off-ramp saying that there is no data to support it. This is ridiculous. This is clear as day. But I want to, let me just, since I'm running out of time, with the three of you, I want to take another question, because the Navarro aspect is just one aspect of it. Anand and Charu and Tausif. That's only one aspect of it. Cover fire to a person attacking India is one. But there are sections of the opposition that are finding fault with what are unequivocal victories for India. For example, what happened in China today, nobody can argue that there is anything to complain about. And yet, even in these aspects, as I will demonstrate now with this graphic, that the opposition has found a reason to whine even about those. Just take a look at this. I have small 5 examples. Reality number 1 is, of course, that Modi and Xi Jinping have committed to normalizing their relations. But what does the opposition say? The Pakistan Prime Minister has been honored, and it is a snub to Modi. Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has been sidelined. The opposition says no justice for the Galwan Braves. The reality, Pakistan Prime Minister honored, snub to Modi. The reality is the Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has been sidelined. So no matter which reality you actually see, there are a couple of errors in these graphics. We'll come back to them a little later. But Anand, whether it is Prime Minister meeting Xi Jinping, whether it is Shehbaz Sharif being snubbed, whether it is the 3 leaders actually holding that very important meeting, if you take each one of those 3 things, Charu, I'll come to you and then I'll go to Anand. You've had the opposition say, no. Shehbaz Sharif was equidistant from Xi Jinping, just like Modi was. And Shehbaz Sharif was also met by Putin. And that, no, the Galwan Braves have been insulted by this entire rapprochement between India and China. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because foreign policy achievements, in my view, should be beyond politics. And it is anything but, if you look at today. Charu.
Shiv, that is the sad reality of the Indian opposition. Instead of focusing on Bharat's win at the summit, what are they focused on? The Pakistani Prime Minister. That is where their heart is, and that is why it's aching so much today, because Pakistan has been sidelined. What other explanation can there be? Because on one side, we have a leader who stands tall for India, brings back diplomatic victories from India from every single trip. And on the other side, we've got the opposition, which is taking potshots at India itself for their petty domestic politics. Why don't you keep your ghar ki ladai in your ghar? Why do you need to create this whole drama which actually undermines India on the international platform? Because that is exactly what the opposition has been doing every single day, Shiv. And now it has got to a point that it is annoying every single Indian. It has actually gotten to that point. Because if you are focusing on Sharif on a day when India is getting a big win in China, then something is really wrong with your mentality. And I really don't understand how are these leaders defending it. I want to say this to Tausif Khan also. Tausif, you are a very reasonable kind of a person. Coming on television today and trying to whitewash a slur which was against India is terrible. When it comes to your country, stand united. What is wrong with our opposition? I think something is really wrong with the kind of leaders we have chosen from the other side to represent us in parliament. क्योंकि उनके नाम के बाद ना member of parliament
Also,
India shouldn't be
I would
there.
like to come in
It
now.
doesn't
No,
suit at
Tausif,
all.
you can
Let me
respond.
answer that.
No, Tausif,
Let
you
me
can
answer.
respond.
No, outsiders can
I'll
Let
tell
me
you,
answer that.
I'll give you an
Outsiders
independent
echo
view
their
also.
sentiments, Tausif. That's my problem.
No, Shadu,
No
let
amount
me
of water
answer
can
this. Let
sink
me
any
address
boat.
this.
Tausif.
I have understood
Unless
your
it
point.
gets inside the boat.
I've heard you now.
All
Let
of you
me.
are that enemy water getting inside India's ship, trying to sink the ship. That's the
Okay,
problem.
now let me answer this.
No, but
Let me answer
Tausif
this. You
also,
are defending.
Tausif, I just
Once
want to say
again,
one thing. I just want to say one thing before you answer. You know, there is more than enough subject matter to criticize the government when it comes to foreign policy. Why does the opposition use the most juvenile, puerile attacks? Like say, no, Shehbaz Sharif was standing at the same distance from Xi Jinping as Modi was. Therefore, he was actually being honored. It was not a snub. It's a failure of Modi. Why can't we have more substance than that, boss?
Shiv, just because we want to defend our Prime Minister, we cannot turn blind to what is actually happening in front of our eyes.
Sir, I am saying don't trust
once
China.
again,
I am
once again,
criticizing
Shiv,
the Prime
I'm not
Minister.
finished.
I am
I'm not
criticizing the
finished.
Prime Minister.
Shiv,
I am saying don't trust
me
China.
to speak. Allow me to speak. See, on one hand, when there is President Trump imposing tariffs on us, our Prime Minister is saying that I have taken a stand. I'm not taking his call. I'm not talking to him. Why? Because Trump is imposing tariff on us. And on the other hand, when we know that China attacked us just few months ago, I am going and hugging Chinese premier. I am shaking hands with Chinese PM. Does that show my foreign policy?
So you want to launch nuclear weapons at China?
Prudent person will say that this is a hypocrisy. Prime Minister
It is the hypocrisy of the opposition which has asked for normalization of ties with China.
Looking weak. Prime Minister is looking weak in front of China when he goes on and hugging and shaking hands.
I will be honest with you.
Ago, they were attacking India.
I will be honest with you.
And on the other hand, this is the same Prime Minister.
I will be honest with you.
Stop talking to Trump
Anand,
because
I will give you the last word.
Anand,
I will give you the last word, but let me say this very honestly. I say don't trust China. I criticize the manner in which India is engaged with China, and everybody on this panel knows it. But I will still say the Modi Prime Minister at SCO today has radiated strength, not weakness, by engaging and establishing India's autonomy, sovereignty, and independence of foreign policy. It has radiated strength to the most powerful country in the world at a time that when they have been historically attacking us. And you see this as weakness. Anand, final word.
You know, whatever people might say, and I say this with all responsibility, I deal only with facts. You know that, Shiv, the last week, the Prime Minister has come out spectacularly. That's the only word.
Yeah,
we have negated the bully. We have shown him his place. And by bully, I mean Trump. Nothing is normalized between China and India. Obviously, it can't be. We haven't solved the disputes that we were engaged in for 60 years. To expect them to be solved in the next 6 months is foolishness. We've not, this was an optics, this was a magazine cover. Trump can see Putin, Modi and Xi Jinping together. Now, let me deal with facts. As for those, just 30-second shift, those who call Modi has surrendered. I'll give you the facts of what surrender actually means. During the UPA 10 years, the trade deficit with China ballooned from $1 billion to $37 billion, an increase of 3,600%. During the UPA, it was Shyam Saran, the UPA secretary, who said India has given away 600 square kilometers. In fact, Shiv, that was your scoop.
Yeah.
600 square kilometers of eastern Ladakh to China. And the third surrender, there were 300 incursions by China during the UPA, some as deep as 28 kilometers into Depsang. This is what I call surrender. This is an absolute smashing victory.
It is a smashing victory. And you know, Tausif, I will take the anchor's prerogative by having the last word with your permission. And I only say one thing. You know, when the Depsang incursion happened under the UPA government, and when the UPA attempted to normalize relations with China at that time, you would not have found a journalist more vocal than me supporting the government at that time. I said normalizing with China, demonstrating strength. The BJP was shouting from the rooftops at that time, saying weakness, weak UPA, weak Congress. And I said, this is what strength is. To stop a war, it's easy to start a war. It is very, very difficult to stand up to a bully, get them to get out of your territory, and then deter them from coming back in. That is what strength is. And that is what stopping conflict is. That is what independence is. That is what sovereignty is. That is what standing up to an aggressor is. And that is what the Prime Minister has actually done. So I will bring this to a close today by only saying that the opposition has no shortage. Let me repeat, I am willing to advise. I will tweet about this tomorrow. I will give you 10 points. I will give you 10 talking points to attack the government.
Advisor.
From Pahalgam to Uttarakhand to Arunachal Pradesh to SCO to Trump to tariffs. I will give you all hundreds of talking points to attack the BJP. Charu knows I'm not lying. I will give you substantive issues to criticize the government, but please don't waste public representative time on these puerile, silly point scoring against the government, because Indians are watching and they are not buying this. We deserve a substantive and strong opposition when it comes to issues of national security and issues of foreign relations. So thank you very much, Tausif, Charu and Anand. Always a pleasure. The three of you are my friends. Thank you very much for your time and for being with me on this debate. The Congress party has made the Modi-Xi bilateral about Galwan. Remember the Galwan clash in June 2020 in Ladakh? They are attacking the Prime Minister by saying that meeting Xi Jinping is an injustice to the 20 brave Indian Army men who made the supreme sacrifice in the Galwan Valley 5 years ago. I have to say this plainly tonight, and you will permit me, viewer. This is a devious, misinformed narrative, and it is a narrative that ironically matches China's own propaganda that India somehow was defeated in Galwan. I, as a journalist, wrote the first-hand account, the only first-hand account of the Galwan clash. And I am here to tell anyone listening, including the Congress party, they don't really listen to me, but if they are listening, that justice for those men happened that very night on the banks of the Galwan River. It is distasteful to talk about the deaths of soldiers. I'm a defense and war reporter. But the truth is this, at least 41 Chinese officers and soldiers, probably more, were actually killed that night. Why isn't the Congress talking about that? Most of the fighting happened on the Chinese side of the line of actual control. Why isn't the Congress talking about that? China failed in its objective to change facts on the ground. Why isn't the Congress talking about that? It paid a very heavy price, China did, losing not just soldiers, but a commanding officers like India did, and several specially trained troops who had been brought in to deceive the Indian army. Why isn't the Congress party talking about that? Galwan, which the Congress holds up as a symbol of defeat for India, is actually a symbol of India standing up to a lying, deceptive bully and giving back better than it got. The same Congress party that for years has preached normalization, correctly so, with our neighbors, now questions Modi when he and Xi Jinping seek to normalize ties. Not that India trusts China, but normalization is the way to go, isn't it? By calling Galwan a setback, perhaps knowingly or unknowingly, the Congress party insults the Indian army by projecting its finest hour of grit as a moment of defeat and humiliation. The Congress leadership has even said that our soldiers came back beaten and bruised. Pit ke aaye hain were the words that were used. This is simply false and wrong. It is India's strength and resolve at Galwan that has forced China to agree to disengage and to talk about normalization. The blood of those who fell that night was repaid in double measure. Soldiers know this, officers know this, the Indian army knows this, China knows this, India knows this. It is time the Congress party woke up as well and stopped doing what it ironically accuses the Modi government of doing: sing China's tune. Very quick break here on India Matters. Coming up on the other side, Maratha quota protesters have flooded the city of Mumbai and caused a huge amount of inconvenience to common Mumbaikars. The High Court has had to step in. We'll tell you all about that next.
Hello, Moto.
Moto G96 5G. All eyes on you.
फिनिस्टा विंडोज, ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स, इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनिस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
फाइनल फिनिस्टा।
माय बर्थडे गिफ्ट टू पापा, ये उनके पापा की पहली गाड़ी एक गराज में पड़ी थी दार्जिलिंग में। फिर 3 मैकेनिक, पेंटिंग, पॉलिशिंग। जब इसे फाइनली घर लाया ना, तब लगा लाइफ में ग्रो किया है। बुलाओ।
SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो, लाइफ में ग्रो करो।
प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
तू ही तो है जिसकी सच्चाई वाली क्लैरिटी की वजह से मैं आज यहाँ हूँ।
गोल्ड प्लस सिल्वॉक्सी मिरर्स, ऐसी क्लैरिटी कि आपको सिर्फ सच नजर आए, चाहे कितने भी साल बीत जाएं।
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India, it matters to India, and it matters to me, and it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru, only on NDTV 24/7.
फिनिस्टा विंडोज, ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स, इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनिस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
फाइनल फिनिस्टा।
शिवाजी महाराज की। अरे मराठा। मीडिया कॅमेरा फिरवा, मीडिया। अरे कळू द्या माझ्या जगाला, मराठा आलाय मुंबईमध्ये आरक्षण घ्यायला।
The Maratha quota stir is a big politically sensitive issue that has been simmering for a very long time. But now the protest quota stir that has hit the streets of Mumbai in one of the biggest demonstrations yet has completely crippled the city. And the headlines aren't all uniformly just about the politics of the stir. They're also about how the city has been paralyzed, the fact that there has been rowdyism and looting, the fact that citizens in different parts of Mumbai, including in South Bombay, have been complaining about the behavior, about protesters. Even the High Court has now stepped in. Maximum City has become a mess. Quota protesters in many ways have occupied Mumbai without the requisite permissions, and politicians are simply having no choice but to look the other way because of whatever country but political compulsions. The protests have in many parts of Mumbai life to a halt. Schools, colleges in Mumbai shut. Productivity has been hit. Some people working from home in their thousands. Protesters are bathing and cooking on the streets of an already massively congested city, playing kabaddi on platforms. Traffic is completely out of whack. Protesters are storming into eateries and shops. There have been reports of looting in some areas. The High Court has had to crack down on the Jarange Patil stir. The High Court has issued an ultimatum to the protesters after the damage has already been done. Mumbaikars have had to suffer this nightmare. This is not to comment on the substance of the call for Maratha protests. They want to be part of the OBC. But the question now is this a reservation movement, or is this a license for complete rowdyism in the city of Mumbai? And what kind of cost has been inflicted on the people of Mumbai because of an issue that the politicians are refusing to sort out? Joining me live now, and we'll continue to play all of those compelling pictures, Anish Kawande, he's spokesperson of the Sharad Pawar NCP, Shaina NC, member of the ruling Shiv Sena in Mumbai. Reena Deora is a Mumbai resident. She's owner of Elite Auto Industry and director at Bombay Ampules Private Limited. She's a businesswoman who lives and works in Mumbai and whose life, I presume, has been affected by what's been taking place on the streets of the city. Shaina, I want to quickly come to you first. The High Court has had to step in, and crack the whip. This is something that the government of Maharashtra should have foreseen and perhaps preempted, but it didn't happen. And there's been widespread, rowdyism in the name of protests that have crippled the city of Mumbai. What is your view on this?
So first, let's understand what Mr. Jarange wants. He wants a government resolution to be issued saying that the Marathas in Marathwada region are Kumbis. Now, today we had the Honorable Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, Eknath Shinde, Ajit Pawar, the Advocate General, Birendra Saraf, and the Cabinet Subcommittee Head, which is Radhakrishna V.K. Patil, to first determine whether Kunbi status can be given to Marathas and whether it stands valid from the Hyderabad and Satara gazettes and whether there is legal validity. Now, our government, whether it was Devendra Fadnavis when he was Chief Minister first, who agreed to the 10% extra reservation for Marathas, and then we know what happened when the matter reached the Supreme Court. Then there was the Ubata, the then Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray ji. Whether the documents were presented right or wrong is a political statement, so I won't get into any of that, Shiv. But the fact is that post that, our leader, my leader, Eknath ji Shinde, worked tirelessly for the Maratha community. 5,000 Marathas being given jobs, the avenues of going overseas, and we do know
but Shaina, that doesn't answer my question. I'm asking you, how have these people been allowed to do to Mumbai what they've done? We understand the politics of it, but how has the government allowed this to happen?
So an agitation where you take permission for coming in with your supporters at Azad Maidan is something that the government or any government always does give. But yes, there have been inconveniences to the Mumbaikar, whether it's the Central and the Harbour lines that were running 20-25 minutes late, or the fact that certain bus services, CST area being so overcrowded, the disruption that has been caused is something which is being looked into with absolute sensitivity and at the same time with the correct kind of aggression that the government needs to take to resolve this matter. So I don't think that an agitation can be just stalled, but the cause has to be kept in mind, that keeping in mind, a buffer time always is required.
No, and yes, nobody is commenting on the cause itself. It is the manner in which things have actually played out. Reena, it's a sensitive issue. You live in Mumbai. We do understand that quota stirs, carry the politics of the day with them. What was your experience in the city of Mumbai? We were looking at these pictures all day today.
Yeah. So I speak as a proud Mumbaikar. For me, Mumbai is not just a city, it's the heart of India.
Yeah.
Today, look around. Traffic is blocked, schools are closed, daily wage workers are losing their livelihoods, and patients are struggling to reach hospitals. Garbage is piling up. This is Mumbai we are talking about. We are a city of energy, hope, and opportunity. I think every destruction weakens, but is just making Mumbai much, much stronger. I think everybody is really angry. Anger should not become destruction. I think let the government act fairly and transparently. I think there needs to be dialogue and mutual respect, and hurting the city is not the right way.
Anish, what would you say to the government? Has the government done enough on what's taken place on the streets of Mumbai? And then I'll let Shaina answer. Anish.
You know, Shiv, the unfortunate truth is that the reason Manoj Jarange Patil ji is on a hunger strike in Azad is the same reason that there is no BJP panelist on this debate tonight. Because the BJP, in all of its arrogance, refuses to engage with anyone who disagrees with them. Now, there is a government in Maharashtra with an absolute majority and then some. They have almost 240 seats in Vidhan Sabha. They are in power in the BMC, which they control through an administrator, and they are in power at the national level. How is it possible that not a single minister from this government has bothered to go and meet Jarange Patil ji and listen to his concerns? Just days before this protest was scheduled to start, they changed the rules for demonstrations. The High Court, in all of its wisdom, and I think this is a terrible decision by the High Court, upheld these rules and said that protests at Azad Maidan also need to comply with a slew of regulations that completely stifle democracy in all of its forms. The alternative venue given for this protest was in Kharghar in a swamp. Even at Azad Maidan, protesters were filling up potholes with sand and with gravel brought in from outside the city.
Okay.
This is childish at this point, Shiv. Of course there's anger because the government is refusing to listen.
Shaina, respond to that. Says that this is the government's fault. The government has allowed this to precipitate and become this way. No minister has gone to meet Mr. Jarange Patil either.
Look, let me please make it very clear that our government has stood by the Maratha movement, and this is a fact. It was Devendra Fadnavis who was, when he was the chief minister the first time, that even agitated and took forward the 10% extra reservation for the Marathas. It was our chief minister Eknath Shinde that worked collectively with Devendra Fadnavis back in the day and have continued to do so now. Now you ask about, multiple questions as to why we should allow, or what has the court said. What has the court said? The court has said that this is not the permission that had been given initially, and if it has caused inconvenience and owing to the city which is working day after day, regular commuters, people in the area, around the area, they have all been inconvenienced, and that is why they have said that, we must look into this as a law and order situation, and from Monday the decision is that for the government of the day to ensure that peace and law and order is maintained. Now, after the meeting today, it's not as if there is no dialogue which is continuing. So please let me say that, if you have had huge stock of food and water being distributed to the protesters, along with the inconvenience that it has caused in and around the kind of magnitude that you have seen, a blanket issuance saying that this Kundi status should be given to Marathas has been ruled out by the subcommittee led by Radhakrishna V.K. Patil and Advocate General Virendra Saraf, saying that this is a decision which the honourable courts will take, and obviously the courts have to take cognizance of what is happening on ground.
Anish, quick response,
I don't think that we should be immature and try and blame each other, but I would definitely want to say one thing, Shiv. Please, just allow me one thing.
Yeah.
The kind of diversions and the kind of attention that the Mumbai police has been giving on ground to this entire agitation without hurting anyone, not the protesters or the citizens, I think is also something that needs to be looked at and looked at
of course they're doing their job.
It
must be acknowledged for sure.
Yes, they're allowed
I have no doubts in my mind that the Mumbai police is doing a terrific job. But look at the situation. The situation is because of political omission and commission. Anish, quick word, then I'll end with Reena.
Shiv, the sad reality is that this government had issued a blanket fatwa to food stalls around the area to not serve food, to ensure that protesters would have to seek alternative recourse. Liquor shops were allowed to stay open, but public urinals were not provided. So governance failure cannot be denied over here, right? And my bigger challenge over here is I appreciate what Shaina has said over here about various measures being taken by the government over the past few years on Maratha reservation. We face flack for this as well. But the buck now stops with the government. Eknath Shinde ji introduced the Kunbi certificates for Marathas. Governance is about continuity. Now that Devendra Fadnavis ji is chief minister, he cannot renege upon a promise made by a democratically elected chief minister to crores of people across the state. He cannot do this, otherwise people will take to the streets.
Reena, I will end with you because you've heard the politicians.
Mr. Gawande, the court has intervened saying that Maratha quota is not peaceful and has violated all the conditions on which they were first given the permission. So this is an ultimatum which has come from the honourable court. So we have to only abide
let me give
by
the
what
common
the court
Mumbaikar
say.
the last word.
And
the last word to the common
sensitivity-
Mumbaikar, because I'm out of time. I appreciate what you're saying. You're putting out the facts, the both of you, but let the Mumbaikar have the last word. Reena, you've heard the politicians. You've heard what the court has said. Ultimately, it is you who has to face what's out there on the streets. And by various acts of delay, omission, commission at the political, government and other levels, it's the Mumbaikar who has to face what they have to do. What would you say to the government tonight? Final word to you.
I just feel that let the government act quickly, fairly and transparently. I have been on the roads. We are true Mumbaikars. We don't stop working. I want to thank also the BMC staff and the Mumbai police. They are working tirelessly day and night to keep the city safe and clear the roads. Even in the chaos, Mumbai spirit shines, and we as ordinary citizens stepping up to keep the city alive. Mumbai has faced floods, has faced riots, has faced terror attacks. And
that's true.
every time we have emerged more stronger. Today, let us stand together, rise above anger and ensure Mumbai remains safe, united and proud.
I applaud the maturity with which you're looking at a difficult situation. And many people, Shaina, 10 seconds.
Can I just say one sentence? Just one sentence. See, agitation is a part of any democracy, but what the Bombay High Court has only said for the Maratha quota, that if it's not peaceful and if it has violated the conditions on which it got permissions in the first place, then you bring a city to standstill, then it is obviously the administration, which is the government, that needs to take cognizance of it, take steps in the right direction to make sure that everyone is safe first, number one. And second, when it comes to dialogue and discussion, of course, there are committees which are at play, which are ensuring they can do their very best to give justice to the Maratha community, because our party, Shiv Sena, stands for them.
We'll be watching very closely. There have been some troubling scenes and there are difficult questions to ask. But I'm out of time. But thank you, Shaina, Reena and Anish, for being with me on this. Where is that protest going? The issue is definitely a legitimate one, but the manner in which it has played out leaves a lot to be desired, and there are very, very difficult questions to be asked, and that's why we've done so right here on NDTV. Okay, it's a wrap on India Matters. Thanks so much for watching. And with me now is Padmaja. Here you've got a hydrogen bomb lined up on the buck stop.
That's correct. From one protest to another, from Manoj Jarange Patil to Rahul Gandhi, the culmination of his Vote Adhikar Yatra happened today in Patna. But that was only a small pulchadi. He has promised after an atom bomb, a hydrogen bomb is coming up. Is it bomb or bust? We'll look at that with the data coming up on the other side of a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
और सप्लाई ने ऑर्डर शिप कर दिया?
हाँ, बस अब पेमेंट्स करने हैं।
पेमेंट्स के लिए SBI योनो बिजनेस इंस्टेंट है। फॉरेक्स ट्रांजैक्शंस, टैक्स पेमेंट्स, 24/7, 365 days, फट।
सबको पता है।
SBI योनो बिजनेस फास्ट है, सबको पता है।
Gold Plus glasses that build the nation. Clear glass that shows the world. Mirrors that reflect dreams. Reflective glass that shields from the sun. And build homes that bring families together. Our country, our glass. Gold Plus glass.
Chandigarh, Coimbatore, NCR and Bangalore, Jaipur, Ahmedabad, Raipur and Hyderabad. We've been here, we've been there. Veka's been just everywhere.
सोच रहा हूँ टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस ले लूं ताकि मेरे बाद फैमिली को पैसों की कमी ना हो। सुन, तू भी
फिनिस्टा विंडोज, ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स, इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनिस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
फिनिस्टा।
जब मुंबई से वापस कोल्हापुर शिफ्ट हुआ तो सबने कहा कि ड्रीम सिटी को छोड़ रहा है। ड्रीम सिटी, तो मैंने कहा ड्रीम में तो यही गलियां आती हैं। तो जब ये रियलाइज़ हुआ कि कुछ बड़ा करने के लिए बड़े शहर में रहने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, तब लगा कि लाइफ में ग्रो किया। कशित आई, ऐसे बॉय मिलते मुंबई में? चांस ही नहीं।
SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो, लाइफ में ग्रो करो।
प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
गोल्ड प्लस ऑप्टिमिस्टिक रिफ्लेक्टिव ग्लास लगाओ, धूप की गर्मी को दूर भगाओ और बिजली का बिल भी बचाओ।
Good evening, you're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Padmaja Joshi. What a news-packed Monday, in fact a news-packed weekend it has been. But as always on every story that matters, the buck stops here. After 16 days across Bihar, the Vote Adhikar Yatra by Rahul Gandhi culminated in Patna today with a massive power show with allies like the RJD, VIP, Samajwadi Party, TMC, JMM, all of them flanking him. Rahul Gandhi travelled from Gandhi Maidan to Ambedkar, and after paying homage to Baba Saheb Ambedkar, declared that what he has said so far is only a trailer. Bigger things are yet to come. To his press conference earlier, where he had alleged massive vote chori in Karnataka during the Lok Sabha elections, the LOP today said that expose, that press conference was only an atom bomb. Going ahead, his party is preparing to explode an even bigger and an even more lethal hydrogen bomb.
बीजेपी के लोग अच्छी तरह सुन लीजिए। भैया, एटम बम का नाम सुना है आपने? सुना है एटम बम का नाम? उससे बड़ा क्या होता है? उससे बड़ा क्या होता है? एटम बम से बड़ा हाइड्रोजन बम होता है। होता है नहीं होता है? मधुपुरा में हमने एटम बम दिखाया था। बीजेपी के लोगों तैयार हो जाओ, हाइड्रोजन बम आ रहा है।
नफरती परों से अब आप एटम बम और हाइड्रोजन बम की बात बोलते हैं। यह देश को समझना चाहिए, राहुल गांधी गैर जिम्मेवार हैं। इस देश को समझना चाहिए, राहुल गांधी इज इर्रिस्पॉन्सिबल।
नया नारा चला है बिहार में, वोट चोर गद्दी छोड़। इसको प्ले कीजिए आप, लोगों को बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। वहां भी बोल रहे हैं लोग, चाइना में भी लोग बोल रहे हैं वोट चोर गद्दी छोड़, अमेरिका में भी बोल रहे हैं।
इस पूरे SIR के पीछे जो ये अभियान चल रहा है, इसका पर्पस यही है, गिव अस द राइट एंड द माइट टू कैप्चर बूथ्स, टीयर अवे बैलेट पेपर्स एंड इन्फिल्ट्रेटर्स को वोट देने दो। तो ये अब नहीं चलेगा। ये बात मैं कहना चाहता हूं।
Well, as the Congress